All right, welcome back to Life Science. Today we're covering section 10.3, plant reproduction. I'm breaking this section up into two parts. So today I'm just going to focus on what is alternation of generation in plants. And then tomorrow's lecture we'll look at how, basically what are seeds, what do seeds do for plants, and then looking at flower anatomy. So you do have an assignment, a 10.3 worksheet, or I think it's called alternation of generation / flower anatomy worksheet. So you can do like the front page today and the back page tomorrow. So I think that's how I broke it up. So plant reproduction, plants can reproduce asexually as well as sexually. They can do both, okay? So like, maybe one year they do it sexually, maybe the next year they do it asexually, but they can do both. And sexually just means that you have plant sperm and plant egg from like two different sets of parents. And they combine, so their genetic material combined. Now, asexually means that a portion of the plant develops into a separate new plant. So maybe it forms like a runner and it forms like a clone. So strawberry plants, raspberry plants do this. One parent offspring can produce the offspring, it kind of just grows off of it. Now, alternation of generation means that an organism can flip-flop, or it goes through a cycle where it's diploid for one part of its life and then haploid for the other part. And so let's just quickly review what diploid and haploid means. Diploid means you have the full chromosomal set of numbers. So we are diploid organisms. Every single cell inside of us has 46 chromosomes. We got 23 from mom, 23 from dad. So when those sex cells, let's just say our gametes, fused, 23 plus 23 equals 46. N plus N means, equals 2N. So that's diploid. Haploid means you have half the number of chromosomes. And the unique thing about plants is that, like when we talk about haploid cells in us, the only haploid cells we have are sex cells, sperm or egg. But plants can be haploid multicellular, or a term called the gametophyte. And then they can also be diploid multicellular, like what we are. So I'm going to quickly just kind of go through alternation of generation here. So let's just say we start with a diploid organism, okay? And they produce spores. Maybe it's a fern, I don't know. They produce spores through the process of meiosis. So they went through prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1. And then it went into a second round of division, prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2. So we get these spores. These spores can become individuals themselves, but all of your cells have half the number of chromosomes. And when they want to make gametes, they do the process of mitosis to make more gametes. And these gametes from maybe two different sets of parents will fuse in the process of fertilization and produce a baby, a zygote, that will go through mitosis and grow in size. So that's alternation of generation. So the diploid generation, you have sperm and egg that meet, it forms that zygote. The zygote becomes that diploid plant. The plant will undergo meiosis to cut that number in half because it was 2N and now the spores will be 1N. And those spores just go through mitosis and grow to become haploid multicellular organisms, or go to form the haploid generation of that plant. Then now we're in the haploid part where we are just N. Spores will go through mitosis to produce a haploid or multi-organism plant, and then go through mitosis again to produce spores, so sperm or eggs, that can fuse with another plant to become diploid, and the whole cycle will repeat itself. Now, reproduction in seedless plants. First line plants on Earth grew from haploid spores, not from seeds. Remember, seeds didn't come until later. Seeds are kind of like our newer plant species on planet Earth. But for the life cycle of a moss, they grow by mitosis and cell division from haploid spores that were produced by the diploid generation. They spend most of their lifespan in haploid parts, okay, and a very short part in the diploid. Life cycle of a fern, diploid generation is the leafy plants that you see, and then the spores, which are on underside of the leaves, also known as fronds, can grow into a tiny haploid plant that can produce eggs and sperms and form a diploid generation. Now, you really don't need to know too much about the life cycle of moss and fern, but you should probably check it out in your books. All right, so then you hear, ignore these. You have a different assignment that's posted on Google Classroom, so we are not doing the B questions, and we will, actually I want to talk a little bit about the homework and what it looks like. Wrong file. This one. Okay, so here you have This is what your assignment looks like. Alt-gen/flower anatomy. So this side is all about alternation of generation. All you have to do is label this diagram. So if I were you, I'd probably go back in the C2 video and find a diagram, or use your book. But these guys are going to be your actual individuals. I want to stress that this right here is one term, and this, I'll flip a different color here, is a term. It like scooted down, so it looks like, oh, multicellular diploid, and then you have individual. No, this is all one, and this is all one. And so remember, haploid is N, and diploid is 2N. Okay, so just, if I were you, I would maybe focus on, these are going to be processes, and then these are actually like parts, and I would probably save your mitosis for last, because you're going to use mitosis 3 times. So I would save mitosis for last. So figure out all the other parts, and then fill in mitosis later. And then the backside is the anatomy of a flower, which I'm going to cover parts of tomorrow, the male and female reproductive parts of flowers. So I hope that was helpful.